Chicago Playwrights, produced by the CLYDE FITCH Report in association with Chicago Dramatists. My name is Sean Douglas, and we have Beck Willett on camera. And today our guests are Chicago Dramatists Associate Artistic Director Rachel Edwards Harvith and playwright Rohina Malik. They're here to talk about Rohina's play, The Mecha Tales. So my first question for the two of you is just what brought you initially to this play? Rohina, what inspired you to write it? And Rachel, what inspired you to choose it for our season?
I was just really fascinated by just pilgrimage and spiritual journey. So that was something that I just wanted to explore theatrically. And a lot of that was inspired by the fact that a friend was announced she's going to pilgrimage to Mecca for the Hajj, and it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, what's going on? So once I started digging, I found out that yes, things were going on in her life. And in fact, there are so many people who make the decision to go to Mecca for pilgrimage because, for some people it's religious obligation, but for many people it's because something is going on in their life that makes them leave everything they're doing and go to Mecca for a spiritual journey. So I'm fascinated by that the stuff that is the real reason they need to go. And that was a big inspiration also in the play.
Yeah, theater is so much about having these ecstatic experiences where you take yourself out of the given moment into something else. And I feel like that's how the pilgrimage functions in its own way. It takes you out of the stasis of your everyday life, puts you in a different context to reevaluate life and reevaluate your situation.
The interesting thing about Mecca is it's a place where only Muslims can enter. And what I thought was cool about theater is that I could bring people of other faiths into a place that they normally would not be allowed to be, would not be allowed to experience. So that's the magic of theater, and I just found that really exciting to be able to do that theatrically.
But one of the things you talk about why we picked this and why I'm drawn to it as a director is I've always been curious with sharing stories in going, I know it's a cliche that you step in somebody's shoes, but really we all experience the world very differently, which is why a whole bunch of people can witness the exact same event and have completely different accounts of it that intersect in certain specific ways that can be very different. And I'm very interested in a director about how do you parallel a subjective experience. How do you go inside someone and get what feels like realism to them? You know, because sometimes our brains will experience something in slow motion. It seems like that's how reality is functioning. Or sometimes we'll remember something and we'll only remember something very specific. And how do you hone in on what feels true and how that might not look the same as a kitchen sink drama, but maybe that's a more accurate presentation of the human experience. I'm a real fan of telling stories on stage from people that we don't hear from all the time. And Rohina is excellent at getting this female Muslim perspective that we don't see. And as a female director, I love plays that have a bunch of women on them and tell female stories. And so to have a play with 5 women in it who all wear the hijab, the veil, is just fantastic.
About your relationship as collaborators, what is the rehearsal process like, and what is it like to work together?
One of the reasons that our collaboration as director and playwright works so well is that we both trust actors. And I really care about actors' instinct, and just listening to them is so valuable in the process. And I feel that Rachel is the exact same way. And I think that's what makes us work really well as a team. We have, and another thing that's so exciting is the diversity you will see on stage with the show.
Absolutely. Sometimes when people think about faith, they think about a specific culture, and it's not like that, and it's not. It's just, there's people of all backgrounds, and so that's something that you have on stage.
You have that on stage, but also if you actually were to ever go to Mecca, you would see Japanese Muslims, you would see Russian Muslims, you would see Muslims from every part of the globe. And obviously I can't do that in our play, but you see that diversity that you'll find in Mecca, that you'll also find in the faith. So that in itself, because a lot of people, when they think of Islam, they think of Arab. And yet, the largest Muslim country is Indonesia. So I think that the play is going to really challenge and shatter a lot of stereotypes.
So tell me about the future. What projects do you have coming up after this?
Next for me is the New York premiere of my one-woman play Unveiled, which I'm so excited about, and that is going to be produced by Voyage Theatre Company. I recently become a company member there, so I'm really excited about that. And then as soon as the production in New York closes, it opens the very next week at Silk Road Rising, which is downtown, and they're going to do a one-week run of Unveiled. And it's in June, and you can get more information from my website. So I'm really, really excited about that. So it's a busy time, but an exciting time for me.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down to talk to us today. I'm really excited to see the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been Chicago Playwrights. Thanks for joining us.